Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and we are back with some Infinity stuff. And I gotta be honest with you, I have been craving Infinity. And it's probably Joy Toy's fault. I mean, with the, 1/18th scale figures they've been putting out, and with the Pano stuff coming really soon. Not that I was ever a big Pano fan, but it does bring me hope that we're gonna see more tags eventually in that scale. I mean, tags are big, and you know what? This is a nice supplement in the meantime. And honestly, this is a really nice resculpt. If you aren't familiar with it, the O-Yoroi Kidoubutai was actually one of the older models. We've seen this before, but now it does come with the little panda guys as well, and this is a really nice resculpt. It looks a lot bulkier than the original one. It's been a while since I've seen the original. But this is also going to be another one of those thermoplastic figures, and I know I did a review on one of the earlier ones. I want to say it was like the iguana or something, and I don't know where I put it. So obviously my goal between now and finishing this video is to find that. I feel like I got it primed up, but I don't even know. Anyway, let's take a look at this. If we've got the capability to open it up. Oh, I didn't even notice it's got like the artwork of the original there, or at least an update. You know, obviously, even if you're not much of an Infinity player, big robots, always nice to have, whether they are for the tabletop or just for display. The pandas are metal. Interesting. Why is there only one? Or are there two? Let's shake the whole table. Okay, there are two. One is a single piece. The other one is a blurry out of focus metal mess. You're going to have to clean him up. That is some nice precariously balanced Infinity, just the way I remember it. Nice size base. Let's see what we're getting into here. There is going to need to be some cleanup. You can't all be Kingdom Death photo resin. But I gotta say, compared to some of the other thermoplastic figures I have dealt with, the quality of these are really nice. Really sharp details, especially when they're in focus there. Torso, legs, a leg. I'm assuming there's going to be a waist piece. Sword looks adequately straight. Get flashbacks to floppy rustic pieces. Those days, thankfully, are done. Never a fan of cords, but I guess we can always heat it up if need be. Little mini hands and head. And what looks to be the rest of the torso. I guess it's not going to be a separate piece for those parts. Fair enough. Hopefully everything lines up. I mean, I'm just eyeballing it. That doesn't look the straightest, but it also might not matter if the pieces are lined up like that. It could be intentional and it could be a non-issue. Entirely dependent upon, I don't know. We'll see. Give me a sec, we'll put it all together. And it doesn't look too complex, not too many parts, and at least it's not metal, but you know, one of the advantages of metal is also the fact that you can, you know, kind of mess with it, warp it, bend it, but hopefully the same can apply to this as well. So, let's find out how it turns out. Sit tight. Alright, so our O-Yoroi Kidoubutai is all put together, and I hate to say it, but it was a bit of a challenge. Now, let's talk why. So first off, as I think I mentioned before, because I have a bad tendency to start these projects and then put them off for a while, and I think I started this before I went to Japan, so it's obviously been a bit since I was in there, at least at the time of this filming. And unfortunately, the spots where the parts are keyed up did not want to fit. And so I had to do a little bit of carving, and it felt like the old days of Rustic all over again. But, you know, I persevered, and for the most part, I think I got everything okay. Now, problem number one is, you can see here, his feet aren't both actually touching the ground. That's a problem, but it's easily solved, at least by me throwing a bunch of gravel and junk and kind of gluing it up and around. So in the end, it'll look all right and stable. Second of all, I know there's a few spots on him that are in need of a bit more cleanup. That's okay, but here's the major one. I'm pretty sure this is where that hose is supposed to go, and it keeps popping off because it has a flat contact surface. You can see here, pretty sure that's the same hose trying to get plugged in. So we will eventually heat it up and play with that some more. But for purposes of this video, I didn't want to mess with it anymore. I was sick of it. But yeah, he does have those tiny little baby arms. You can see it right there by my thumb. At least one of them. The other one is actually hidden by the larger arms. And you're really not going to be able to see much of them once everything is all painted, I think. But, you know, it is what it is. Despite those hiccups, I'm still happy with it. Like, I mean, I got it for a good price. I'm never going to pay full price if I can get away with it. And it's not like Corvus Belli's going to start sending me stuff, and then I'd have a bad habit of probably giving it all away. But that's a whole different story. Overall, it's nice. It looks solid. It's got some good chunk to it. Not as hefty as, say, like the Salamander kit here. And I swear I built another tag at some point or another, and I have no idea what I did with it. The one that was also in the thermoplastic. I want to say it was an iguana or something. Some other lizard-related one. I know I've got another one coming. The Stigmata, I think. We'll do a video on that pretty soon. But overall, you know, it's a nice, solid-looking figure. Oh, and you have the drones, too. But I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I guess if you're going to play any other sort of tabletop game besides Infinity, we gave up trying to learn the rules once upon a time, but, you know, the figures are really neat. There is no denying that. They have that very anime aesthetic. Not as much as they used to, maybe, but it's still there. Oh, gosh, what is this thing called? I know it's... I feel like I want to say Jackal. That doesn't feel... I don't know. It's one of the heavy infantries for the... What is it, the Ariana guys? Someday I'm going to finish up that tag once I find it. I searched and searched, but it was all for naught. Along with my Pano figures. I know I have some Pano stuff that I painted ages ago. If none of this Infinity stuff is of a familiar size to you, then let me throw a couple other things out there just to give you a good idea. I mean, with the design, I'm sure you could find a use for it in just about any kind of sci-fi tabletop game. We've got a Frostgrave figure, Stargrave figure, and a Primaris guy. You can take that. Some War Games Atlantic Deathfield stuff. Again, just to give you guys a good size idea of how big this is going to be. Are there any other random modern sci-fi figures I have that aren't GW? I should have some Mantic stuff. I'm going to have to drag some Mantic stuff out one of these days that's not fantasy. I mean, like, I don't know if you want to have fantasy stuff. I mean, they're all in scale with each other anyway, so Northern Alliance guy. But overall, I want to say it's a good kit, and I'm hoping that my alignment issues were mine and mine alone, because I feel like the other tag that I built didn't have that issue. And it could just be me with, rose-tinted glasses looking back on the past. I probably should go back and check my video on that, because I know I did it at one point. But at least in the meantime, I'm going to try to get him primed up. I know it took me forever to finish my last Bakunin Nomad stuff, and they have a similar paint scheme, but at least I kind of have an idea how I want to do that, so hopefully it won't take me as long. But I know it won't be anywhere near Mr. Heraldez's style, so just keep your expectations tempered. So, with that said, then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.